It's rough like this and them not nice like this. Some can't take it when you talk true sense. Rather hear the words that glorify nonsense. Yes, and I got my brain, and I'm pretty like my mama. I don't wanna pick your brain, I just want the microphone. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I wanna share my love, but it's gotta be with someone who's precious. You're never gonna get my love, accepting that you're real precious. You're never gonna cramp my style, baby, cause I get a lot of pleasure. And if you wanna test my style, you better have a whole lot of measure. Cause I'm a rock back chick, never tag along the never look back chick. Trendy, a little crazy, intelligently singing rock back chick. No sticks, no stones, or any kind of weapon don't belong here. I don't wanna break no bones, I just want a microphone. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, 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 good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, viewers. It's 7 a.m. this morning, and we want to welcome you to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. Yes, folks, you see that extra energy and that extra excitement. Hey, it's Friday, the 29th of April, and we are happy that it's Friday as we venture into what one would call quite naturally the long weekend taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. And in fact, naturally, the celebration of the holiday. You know how we feel about long weekends here, specifically in Trinidad and Tobago. So it's that kind of Friday where your excitement goes high, because you're not back out to work until next week, Tuesday. And we trust that persons would have a safe and enjoyable long weekend taking place. Yes, we're still very much within the COVID-19 pandemic and the challenges happening, and so we want to encourage you as much as possible to ensure that you practice the relevant protocols, even as you take the time out to enjoy the long weekend, wheresoever it may be, based on your plans and activities. Viewers, at this point we go to news in 90 seconds with Denicia Dempster.
Thank you, Julian. Here's the news in 90 seconds. A motion was passed in the House yesterday to allow the establishment of a policy towards a social support based on a case conference model. Secretary of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, Dr. Faith B. Israel, led the motion. The aim is to set up a system whereby social supports can be given to clients no matter the division they present themselves to. It will allow for more streamlined support, preventing the client from having to visit several departments before work can begin on their case. The motion was unanimously supported by the Executive Council and the Minority Council. In other news, reef tour operators are not pleased with new restrictions on the Buko Reef Marine Park, which prohibits parties and the consumption of alcohol. PRO of the Reef Tour Association, Michael Frank, told Tobago Updates that there was no consultations with reef tour operations before the new restrictions were introduced. He says these new restrictions will hurt their business at a time when they are now starting to recover from the pandemic. He wants the relevant authorities to meet with the tour operators to work out a compromise. Meanwhile, recent fuel prices increases are not a measure to punish the population, but It is about shared responsibility. This is according to Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Brian Manning, in the Senate yesterday. He refuted claims from the opposition that fuel price increases were punitive measures. He said subsidies were inherently inefficient and unsustainable, noting that subsidized commodities like fuel were maintained through taxes and not by revenue from any state enterprise. That was the news in 90 seconds. Back to you, Jane.
So much there, Denicia Dempster, giving us the news there in 90 seconds. Wow, so many things happening all at once right here in the Tobago space, folks. And you know, it's usually just a little reminder for us in terms of our greater level of responsibility. And specific at that, you know, I find it quite interesting. They mention at the level of Trinidad and Tobago, specific to the issue as it relates to gas prices. And I don't know about you folks, but I've certainly noticed the increase. The increase, so to speak, when one would have been accustomed to normally fill up my tank for about one something and happy to have some change on that. Now we're venting in the vicinity of almost just about 200 and going up there, and you know, it really becomes an uneasy kind of situation. And it speaks to the fact about what we would have been enjoying for some time now. And, you know, some take that for granted. So I want to remind us out there in terms of the increase that we are now experiencing. And I continue to ask the question whether or not the timing was best. And I know some would say, well, there's never going to be a better time to treat with issues like this in terms of the increase with prices. In fact, some would say, no matter when you bring it, there will be complaints and there will be concerns, but we're treating with it as is, and we will see how it works in terms of the larger scale of things within the context of our country. And I trust that we will not necessarily see these increases going across the board in other areas, because quite frankly, we ought to recognize that this is a particularly challenging time for many, some of whom have not yet even been able to regain any sense of employment within their various spaces and places, and some are already battling to make ends meet. So therefore, we want to continue to send out that reminder out there to the government and those in authority. Let's hold off a little bit if we can. Let's hold off a little bit if we can, to not put so much pressure on our current citizenry already going through so many challenges. And this is always my opportunity to raise, even as an individual myself involved in voluntary work, folks, where the opportunity exists to help others, even if it is one brother or sister by the wayside. Please do your part. Let's do our part as individuals. We don't only need to wait on the government. Let's do our part to help each other. It might be something as simple as a meal. It might be sharing a fruit. Something very basic that to you may not mean anything, but to the individual in receipt, it may mean the world. So let's do our part as individuals going forward. All right. Any birthdays on the lineup this morning? And I'm told that this morning we've got 2 birthdays on the lineup. We want to send a birthday shout out to Dr. McSween, Dr. Pelham McSween. And you know, usually here with us, giving us the insight, as Ria would say, teaching you everything you need to know. Some refer to it commonly as cracking the back. I know that he may not necessarily agree with that. All right, but as Ria would say, certainly giving you a clear sense of, you know, your areas of responsibility. So Dr. McSween, we want to wish you a very, very happy birthday, coming to you from the Tobago Updates family here. And this morning, we are also sending out birthday shout-outs to Anne-Marie Davis. That's Anne-Marie Davis. Some of you may have known her out of Scarborough Secondary School, where she taught for a number of years. In fact, I'm proud to say she would have been my form teacher since I would have entered at Form 1. Back then at Scarborough Secondary School, back in the day, Miss had me develop that kind of focus and love specifically for what we would call the languages. And though I traveled with it for some distance, and then I decided to put a little hold on it. But I really want to thank Miss Anne-Marie Davis for that kind of love and excitement that she naturally brought to Spanish for those of us who were in her class over time at Scarborough Secondary School. And in fact, what transitioned into a very kind of exciting energy. If you went to Scarborough Secondary School during her time and you didn't know Miss Davis, something was wrong. So we want to wish you a happy, happy birthday going out to Miss Anne-Marie Davis. We trust that you have an enjoyable celebration today. And yes, viewers, this morning, just in case you're wondering about the shirt this morning, the outstanding floral design. This morning I'm wearing Euphoric Designs. That's Euphoric Designs by none other than Darian Phillips. And we want to encourage you to connect with Darian, again, one of our local designers here, 463-4657. That's 463-4657. And this is Euphoric Designs by Darian Phillips. Yes, handmade right here, folks, right here in Tobago. So make sure and connect with her. A shirt this morning, courtesy Euphoric Designs by Darian Phillips, 463-4657. And in case you're wondering, in our rundown this morning, yes, we would have heard of some alarming numbers yesterday happening at the national level with the minister with responsibility for health. And you know, they say when things happening by your neighbor, or in this case, when things happening at the national level, we got to also pay attention to what's happening with our very own situation here in the Tobago space. And this morning in our first segment, we'll be chatting with Dr. Faith B. Israel, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. And we are chatting about the Tobago COVID-19 update and the COVID protocols at school. This morning we're also having a conversation with Camille Ali, and that's Director of the Masjid at Lowlands, and it's the end of Ramadan. Yes, the reason why we have this long weekend, we celebrate Eid al-Fitr on Monday, and therefore we'll be getting some more insight into that. And we'll also be chatting this morning with Nevin Roach, CEO of Panorama Entertainment, and we're chatting about the Panorama Contest 2022 that's upcoming. We want to thank each and every one of you for the continued love and support for the Tobago Updates morning show. Those of you joining us via TV, those of you joining us via radio, those of you joining us at tobagoupdates.com, YouTube, and to those of you joining us on Facebook, yes, morning to each and every one of you. QK Melville, Carol Fraser Davidson, Miriam Scott, good morning to you. Joy Kwashi, Jenny Khan. Hey, let's shout out as well our very own Jenny Ali, marketing manager here at the Tobago Updates morning show. I'm also seeing on the live this morning Megan Morrison, Assemblyman Megan Morrison, and she's sending a happy birthday shout out to Uncle Russell Morrison. To Uncle Russell Morrison, birthday shout-outs coming from Assemblyman Megan Morrison and the entire Tobago Updates family here to you this morning. Shaquida Latouche for joining us. I'm also seeing birthday greetings going out to Megan says Uncle Russell Morrison, and certainly he's known in many circles, as we also sing a happy 70th birthday going out to Pastor Russell Morrison. And I want to assume it's the same Russell Morrison. 70th birthday celebrations, and this one comes out to Pastor Russell Morrison, coming from Carol Fraser Davidson. All right, we also seeing Jenny Khan, Natalie Kajo Nelson, and the entire team. All of you, each and every one of you joining us daily, continuing to support the Tobago Updates morning show, and we want to thank you so much for that love and support. As we always say, we are number one because of each and every one of you. And at this point, we want to remind you, as we prepare to head into the next segment with Dr. Faith B. Israel, this is your time to share the live, share the live, share the live.
I just want the microphone, morning. I just want the microphone.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Rest easy at American stores. Up to 20% off. Outstanding discounts on selected Serta, Sealy, and Therapeutic mattress brands. Check us out today at American stores, where we make quality living affordable.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you live here from the Port Mall in Scarborough. And you know, we always got to continue to shout out our viewers. And in fact, Russell Morrison is on with us this morning, one of our loyal viewers out there in New York, and continuing to ensure that he tunes in on a daily basis. We trust that you have an enjoyable birthday celebrations, and thank you for taking some time out from that birthday to still connect with us here at the Tobago Updates morning show, joining us on the live. All right, viewers, at this point we prepare to head into this segment. The COVID-19 situation in more recent times has led us to some relaxations in terms of the policies. Schools have now been fully reopened. Persons are now back out to work, and we are now adjusting to living with COVID-19. However, we have seen the rise in some numbers, at least yesterday, that gives us a bit of uneasiness and concern. And therefore, in this segment, we're happy to be chatting with none other than Dr. Faith B. Israel, the Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. Morning, Dr. Faith.
Hi, good morning, Julian. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, everyone who is viewing and listening.
All right, joining us straight out of the East, we continue to have faith in Dr. Faith. Give us a sense of what is happening. You know, we saw the alarming numbers at the national level, and certainly we don't want to take it for granted here in the Tobago space, because we're one country, Trinidad and Tobago, where access, you know, is quite, get on a boat, jump on a plane, I am here and I am there in terms of the mix. And for most of us, as I like to say, in Tobago, being in the mix in Trinidad is a must by way of business and some of the activities that we have to conduct. What are your general thoughts in the first instance, or your words of guidance to the Tobago people, and by extension the national circumstances, given the numbers that we saw yesterday? Should we start to panic? Should we be concerned? Should we be responsible? Give us some guidance, Dr. Faith.
Well, you know, it has been a very challenging 2 years. It's been a very challenging last couple months. I would say do not panic, but when you see the numbers that come from Tobago in the report that we are going to release this morning, it is over 90 new cases. Now, we haven't seen a report with a number like that in a very long time. So no, do not panic, because when we panic, it means we don't act responsibly. It means we can't think when we panic. What I want us to do is to be responsible. I remember a couple of weeks ago, as we were opening up, as we were going into Easter and all of that, I reminded us that we needed to have this delicate balance between the economic activities that need to happen and the medical responsible thing to do. We had the economic activity, and now we're seeing the numbers coming back as a result of the movement, as a result of the lifting of the restrictions, as a result of people, you went from hearing the word pandemic to now hearing the word endemic, and people thinking it means that it's ended. No, the numbers show that it has not ended. As a matter of fact, the report today comes out, I think it's 95, 94, 95, if I'm not mistaken, is what would be released as new cases for Tobago for, the report that comes out at 10 p.m. The night before. So don't panic, but be responsible. Wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands, get vaccinated. Listen, earlier, the vaccines are still here. The vaccines are still very available. The vaccines are saving lives. So do what we have to do. Keep behaving responsibly. That is what we need to do.
In and around the Tobago space, Dr. Faith, there's been the general feeling, we jokingly say from time to time, having faith with Dr. Faith, but there seems to be that sense of restored hope over what is an extended period of being able to have manageable numbers. Some would say it's just luck and chance. Tell us about the specific efforts that would have taken place for where we have been able to see, not numbers as high within the Tobago space in terms of responsibility from on the end of those in authority, as well as where individuals themselves have been taking on responsibility. So it comes as a gentle reminder, if we do the right things, we can be in a better place and a position. Give us a sense of how that has been over the last few months for us to see these kinds of numbers and get excited and say, them in Trinidad still high, but we good in Tobago.
So, as much as I would love to toot my own horn and say, hey, it's because I'm here why this is happening, I cannot do that because I understand infectious diseases. We have been blessed, and it is a blessing that the last couple of variants, primarily Omicron, and it seems like this variant of Omicron, the XE variant, have not been very, very deadly. So that is why we've not been seeing the very high rates of death in particular. We have also not been seeing the high rates of numbers, of official numbers, and I am continually warning us that the numbers we present are official numbers. The fact that we have 90 something today means that we have multiples of that running around. Now, because the variant is actually not as deadly as Delta was, it's not as it doesn't get you as sick as Delta did. It means that there are quite a bit of people with it who just do not feel sick, or just never got tested, or got tested privately and it was not reported. So we cannot be too lax, and I've been saying this, let us not be too lax, let us not be too carefree. Yes, people have been taking heed. Yes, and I have to be very, very thankful, for example, when it came down to the latter end of December and January, where we've had some really, really great intervention at the healthcare facilities in the ICU and so forth. And that has helped quite a bit with the numbers of deaths that we've seen, because people were going into the ICU and coming out, better. And that is a real testament to the professionals that we have within the Tobago Regional Health Authority, and I have to thank them for that. But people have to be careful that they don't just relax themselves. This is what, 2 weeks post Easter is what we are seeing right now. I do not know what will happen. We have to look at the trends. We have to look at what happens over the next week or two. We are still looking to see this new variant of Omicron, XE, what that would look like, and whether it will be very, very bad or good. I mean, we are seeing that it is not as, you are not getting as sick, but we just have to kind of wait and see. And as I keep saying, we don't know what the next variant would look like. I am hoping that the next variant, if and whenever it comes, it is milder, but we simply do not know. And because we don't know, we have to keep being vigilant.
Dr. Faith, give us a sense of our progress in relation to the Roxborough Hospital with regard to the full operationalization based on the phased approach that has been taken thus far. Where are we at with that, as well as with the parallel care system in terms of treating with the same COVID-19?
Right, certainly. So the Roxborough Hospital is up and running, as you said, and I'm glad you said phased opening, because I wanted to be very, very clear. I saw someone post some time ago that they went to the hospital over the weekend and it was not open. And I was like, okay, so I guess that person did not hear me when I say that the inpatient services are not going to be up and running just yet. The target time for that is June or so. But what we have now are the outpatient, meaning if you have different clinics, you can go to Roxborough to get those clinics done. Of course, it is being managed, so you cannot just show up and say, I want to go to Roxborough. If you've been in a clinic before, if you are going to the health center and you need to go into the hospital clinic, that is being managed there. If you need dialysis and so forth, that is being managed there. As it relates to the parallel health system, we are having a bit of challenges because we're still having issues with shipments. So some of the last teeny weeny last little bit of critical critical equipment that need to come in are still on their way coming. They're coming, they're coming, they're coming. But, you know, we kind of have to wait for that. That is just what it is. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, because of all of the closures, we've had a lot of those companies basically shut down, and they're now trying to figure out how to get back to normal functioning. Many have not even gotten back to normal functioning just yet. So we are still delayed with the complete opening, for example, of that parallel system, but we still have the resources that are available at the Signal Hill Hospital in Signal Hill, at the Scarborough General Hospital. We still have all of the health professionals. We have been very, very diligent to ensure that those that we brought in during COVID, who were given those month-to-month short-term contracts, they are in a rolling kind of method, getting the longer 3-year contracts. So we still have the technical capacity, we still have the human resources there available. I am hoping that we don't need to use the ICU, that we don't need to go back to that, but if we do need it, it is available.
Dr. Faith, particularly looking at schools very quickly in relation to our students, young ones and so on, about their body's natural ability to be resilient and to fight off. Now that we have schools returning, any concerns, which I know some schools at the national level, what is our situation here in Tobago in particular? Because I know you'd be in close contact, the Division of Health, also with the Division of Education and schools at this point. What's your update for us in that context from the perspective of treating with this COVID-19?
Well, certainly we expect, we expect that once the children are coming together, once the children are in the same space, that if in the home of the child there is COVID and no one knows just yet and the child goes into school, that can cause COVID in the school. So we have seen instances where there are cases in school. It's not alarming, it's not any, it's not at a higher rate than what we anticipated or what we expected. So that is normal. We also have to be conscious that it's children we're dealing with. We're dealing with children. Children who don't necessarily want to wear the mask. Look, even as a full-blown adult who knows all of this about COVID, I don't want to wear my mask. Far less the children who we are asking to wear masks and wash their hands and that kind of thing. So we expect them to be cases popping up and down in the schools. The good thing is that the policy, I am really happy that the Division of Education was able to bring on their health unit, and they were able to create, in collaboration with their OSH unit, they were able to work with us and have the health policy where it's very clear in terms of if a child gets sick, what happens, what do they do, who did they call, and that kind of thing. And I think that is being ruled out pretty well. So it's not an alarming situation at all. If it were alarming, I would have made a recommendation to shut back down if that is what was necessary, but it's certainly not alarming just yet in the schools. So we have to keep watching, keep waiting, but keep being vigilant. And I keep telling the parents and the teachers, for example, that because we are dealing with children and children may not be able to follow the rules and the guidelines, you have to be more vigilant. You have to wash your hands. You have to do your wearing of the mask. You have to get vaccinated. You have to do the things that we are not expecting the children to do simply because they are young and they don't really understand the consequences.
Well, as we, in our final question here this morning, Dr. Faith, the motion would have passed yesterday in the House specific to a committee of social support staff for each division to be convened to create the policy that guides how this process is implemented by June 30th. Just give us a synopsis, Dr. Faith. I know this is going to be challenging within about 30 seconds or so of what that motion is intended to achieve for the average Tobagonian.
Certainly, what is intended is for the person, a client who comes into the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection or any of the divisions needing social support. When they come in and when they are assessed at that division, we would then reach out and we will then ensure that when we are speaking about that client or when we are determining what is best for that client, we are not just doing it with the social services people in our division, but we're doing it with all of the social services people throughout the THA. So even if the client comes by me for food, but we recognize that they need housing, that can be treated with immediately because we've done that kind of comprehensive assessment. That is what the motion is about. That is the direction that we are going.
Very much, Dr. Faith, for joining us. Continuing, that ability to give us that sense of don't panic. I just want you to be responsible as persons here in Tobago and by extension at the national level, and all of you viewing, because within the region, whether you're in the world at large, we continue to face this COVID-19 challenge, and therefore we have that critical responsibility. Thank you very much again for joining us in this segment. Dr. Faith B. Israel, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Health. Viewers, coming up in the next segment, we'll be chatting with Camille Ali, Director of the Masjid located there at Lowlands, and we'll be chatting about the end of Ramadan as we celebrate Eid al-Fitr, and he'd give us some more insight into that coming on Monday. At this point, viewers, we want to remind you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
It's a different type of thing down there. What? Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago. There's a taste in the air everywhere. Feel the vibe cause it's something to share. Smooth, rich and creamy, you'll find it right here. Makes you smile, relax a while, it's fun and good cheer. Ooh, enjoy every scoop. Ooh, every taste will get you hooked. We have flavors that you love, a combination special. Come along, enjoy our treats. This is Uncle Pete's.
Are you looking for that all-in-one shopping experience? Then look no more. Visit Lamb's Best Mart for your grocery items, fruits and vegetables, drinks, home items, stationery, gift items, hampers, shopping gift cards, toiletries, small hardware items, and much more. We provide order and pickup service, even delivery to your door. We are your friendly community supermarket. Check us out today at Lamb's Best Mart located at 22 Daniel Trace Canby, or visit us on social media at Lamb's Best Mart.
Hello, Crime Stoppers?
This is Crime Stoppers. Please share only your crime information.
I want to report a crime, but I need to make sure it will not be traced back to me.
Caller, I assure you, there's no record of this call other than the information you give us and the tip number I assign you for you to call back and check on your reward. This system has worked in 26 countries for more than 40 years.
Help stop crime. Call Crime Stoppers at 800-TIPS today. Calls are safe and 100% anonymous.
Rest easy at American Stores. Up to 20% off. Outstanding discounts on selected Serta, Sealy, and Therapeutic mattress brands. Check us out today at American Stores, where we make quality living affordable.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back. It's 7:31 a.m. this morning, and this is the Tobago Updates morning show coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. Yes, a shirt and design this morning, courtesy Euphoric Design, Darian Phillips. Connect with her on the socials, Facebook, Instagram. All right, viewers, in this segment, we are chatting with Camille Ali, Director of the Masjid located at Lowlands, and we're speaking to the end of Ramadan and the celebration of Eid al-Fitr, public holiday here in Trinidad and Tobago that takes place on Monday. Morning to you, and welcome.
Hi, good morning. First of all, let me say it's a pleasure to be here. It's my first time in the studio. You all have a very nice setup, and let me say I must commend you on the good works that you all are doing. And I would like to greet you and Tobago with the universal greeting of Assalamu Alaikum, which means peace and blessing upon each and everyone who is looking on here this morning.
Thank you very much indeed. And as we go into the discussions this morning, and we started, I think it would have been just about a month ago.
Correct, yeah.
With Imam coming to give us a sense of, what are the expectations and so. And it's good that we now have the follow-up
Yes.
from that
Yeah.
period. For the benefit of our viewers, as usual, we celebrate on Monday, we go into the celebration of Eid al-Fitr.
Yes.
Some in the country are happy for a long weekend.
Yes, of course, yes.
We want you to give us a specific sense of the significance of Eid al-Fitr in terms of the public holiday that's being celebrated.
On Monday, right. So we have just about 2 or 3 more days for the month of Ramadan to be completed. On Sunday coming, we'll be looking out for the moon because we base our sighting on the lunar calendar. So the moon will be approximately 25 hours old on Sunday, which is a 95% chance of seeing the moon. Once the moon is sighted, then we end the month of Ramadan. We end our last day of fasting, which will give us 29 days of fasting. Now, when a Muslim fast could not go beyond 29 or 30 days. The maximum number is 30 days. It can't go beyond that. So once the moon is sighted on Sunday, then automatically Eid begins on Sunday night and throughout Monday. So the day of Eid is a really significant day. It marks the end of Ramadan. It's a day of rejoicing. It's a day of celebration. It's a day of giving. It's a day of family time. It's a day of going to your mosque. It's a day of coming together. And really, on the day of Eid al-Fitr, you are prohibited from fasting on the day. Fasting is not allowed on that day. That is the day of relaxing, eating, getting in contact with your family and friends. And I say, we start our prayer at the mosque in Lowlands around 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, Julian, if we look back for the last 2 years, it was really a sad time in the Muslim community and maybe in all the other religious communities, because that was a time that, you know, sometime in life when people take things for granted, that was the time our mosques and our churches and our temples was taken away from us for the last 2 years. So this year was really a wonderful time, because this year we were allowed to go to our mosque every day to break fast, to have iftar and dinner after we finish our fast after sunset in the afternoon. It was a really wonderful time, because when we look back last year, our mosques were closed and nobody was allowed to go to mosque, just about 4 or 5 people on a daily basis. So every day this year, we were able to venture to our mosque to go in the afternoon. We break our fast after sunset. We catered for almost about 100% every day. You know, we get together, we break our fast, and we have dinner and so on. So everybody was really happy this year, you know. And my message also is to, apart from the Muslim community, but the general public is, you know, never take anything for granted in life, because you doesn't know when it will be taken away from you. So Monday coming, we look forward for this great day of celebration where we get together and we exchange gifts and we say our prayer. We have our grand celebration, and also it's a day of helping the needy and the poor and giving out on that day.
You know, and I'm happy that you would have mentioned that, and I think that goes across the board with we've taken things for granted.
Yes.
You know, and then we recognize, wow, these things can actually be taken away in some way, form, or fashion. And I want you to speak to that specifically in terms of it would appear that there has been an overwhelming response because people were so happy to be back out.
Yes.
But tell me in particular in terms of new persons gaining that kind of interest and exposure, you know, in terms of beginning to gain a better understanding. How would that have been, particularly during the period of Ramadan?
Right. That's a very good question. You know, in our masjid in Lowlands there, when that mosque started over 40 years ago, there was just a handful of Muslims in Tobago. You could probably count with your fingers. Today, you know, the Muslim community has grown significantly. It's a very diverse community. We have approximately almost close to 300 members, and we are growing. In the last couple of months, we have had almost about 12 new members, 12 new people in Tobago, Tobagoans who have accepted Islam. Because, you know, out there, there's so much misconception about this beautiful religion of Islam. And at the same time, although our religion is the most misconcepted religion, it's the fastest growing religion in the world. We are approximately 1.8 billion Muslims around the world. We are the second largest religious population in the entire world. And I must say that, you know, when you come in our community, you feel a sense of belonging. It's very diverse. You know, it's a very unified community. It's a very family-oriented community. Because Islam teaches these things. There is no segregation. There is no superiority. Whatever race, culture, creed, we are all equal in the sight of God. So we have been gathering on a nightly basis every night for the last 27, 28 days, you know. And even though in Trinidad, you find a lot of the mosques right now, they still haven't started to have their iftar and dinners every day. But in Tobago, we took a decision that, listen, we have to live with this COVID because it's not going anywhere right now. We take our precautions. So we decided to have our iftar and dinner to host people every day, because sometimes, you know, in these times, you know, people, things are getting very difficult and very hard and so on and things. So when we cater every day, we cater our dinner and our iftar. The iftar means a break and fast, because sometimes in Tobago we have a lot of people passing through, because our mosque is the center area where people from all over Trinidad will pass through, and even all over the world, because it's the main mosque in Tobago. So it's a place that, you know, like, we welcome everybody. We don't look at see, well, who is coming from what different mosques or what different organization and so on and thing. We believe this is how Islam is a universal religion. And also I am very much involved with the interfaith service in Tobago. We have a very good relation with the Seventh-day Adventists, the Baha'i, the Hindu community, the Roman Catholic. We meet on a regular basis and so on. And we have a really, really wonderful thing going. In fact, the Tobago House of Assembly recently, the community development, they form what you call the Tobago Faith-Based Council, where they're going to form a new board, and this board is going to be governing the different religious organizations in Tobago where you can seek help and funding and so on and things. So lots have been happening at our mosque in Lowlands, and we really, really look forward, to that day of Eid, that day of celebration where we'll get together. And because as I said, for the last 2 years, it was so strange, being home, being away from everything, no celebration, nothing. And it makes us realize that, listen, you really have to be thankful and grateful, because we could have been one in that over 6 million people have passed away in the past 2 years with COVID. We could have been one in that over 3,000 person would have died in Trinidad and Tobago, from COVID. And this is really a time of, reflection. It's a time of analyzing our life and analyzing, the little time that we have here, that we were put here for a purpose in this life, and we have to really, look at the big picture that one day we will have to leave this earth, because when the month of Ramadan started, there were so many Muslims started the month of Ramadan, but there are so many Muslims who would not finish it because they have died during the month of Ramadan. And the same way, there are so many of our brothers and sisters were with us last year, waiting, to welcome Ramadan. They are no longer here. So this is a lesson to teach all of us.
Yes, definitely. One of the areas I also want you to touch on, I know when we would have had the Imam on, we spoke to, and I felt that was so encouraging. A lot of people don't seem to know about the work that happens in the context of helping persons in need. You mentioned it twofold, of the mosque being open to anyone.
Yes.
And that was very good information, so to speak, because sometimes people take it for granted that it's only exclusive.
Correct.
If you're a part of.
Yes.
But in this time, and so the mosque being open to everyone. And I want you to speak more specifically to give us a sense of your opportunities to impact and help, and going out there into communities to help persons in need, particularly within this month of Ramadan. How has that experience been? Because it's one thing I know you'd help normally, but now the demand was probably even greater, quite naturally, because of the impact of the pandemic. Tell us about that.
Sure. So the Muslim community in Luanda is really indeed a vibrant community. As I say, if anytime you're free to come down and visit the community and so on, one of the first things you see is a very big play park in the ground, in the compound here. And this is to show that, it's an environment that you have to be a welcoming environment. We welcome families and kids and so on, because you want to be in that kind of environment. The last couple of months has been really, really a tough time, because we know that so many people would have lost their jobs. Still, there are a lot of people out of work, because the road to recovery is going to be a long road. We will get there, but it takes time and patience, and it takes working together. During the time, we were chosen as one of the mosques for government distribution of hampers. And during that time, the government would have given us funding to do hampers. When we did the hampers, right, we were one of the few organizations that were able to use the money to give twice the amount of hampers that you would normally give out. So within the threefold process that they gave us, we were able to distribute over 1,000 hampers at a time. When we distributed the hampers, the majority went to our non-Muslim brothers and sisters in the community. Also, one of the complaints that people had, a lot of people had, is that the migrant community, the Venezuelan community and so on, they were not receiving anything because being outsiders, as they say, or being, migrants and things. But we took a decision that these hampers would go to each and any person. So there were certain times that we had days only for the migrant community to receive hampers. There were times that people couldn't even come to collect the hampers, and we sent out hampers for people in the community and so on. So we, just last year also, we teamed up with Islamic organization in Trinidad, Islamic Missionary Guild, and they brought over 600 hampers. Now, that was an Islamic organization. So people think when they come to Tobago, these hampers would strictly go to Muslim. Out of the 600 hampers, 550 went to the general public. 50 hampers went to the Muslim community. We met with the Seventh-day Adventists at one day, and we went to their church and we distributed hampers and so on. And this is the beauty of Islam. This is the beauty about giving, because I believe once you are involved in religious organization, you're involved in religious work, your main aim and objective is to work with everybody, because you are part of society, you are part of the whole of Tobago, and it is our responsibility to reach out to anybody. I have been receiving calls during that time on a daily basis, from the general public, that even at 1 or 2 times there was a lady said that, she needed to get an inhaler. And I went and met her, and I bought it and I gave it to her, and she kept calling after just to thank us, and she said, Mr. Ali, she had reached out to so many people and nobody was willing to help, because I guess at the same time there was people so overwhelmed with the amount of, responses and so many people asking for things. But I think whatever little that we have to share it. And it goes a long way with the Almighty Creator blessing your organization and blessing you now with more resources coming so that you can dispense it and you can give people. So this, I think, is something that everybody should do. And as I said, that I work with a lot of the faith-based organization. In the last couple of months, the U.S. Embassy has been reaching out to us, where they have met at our mosque in Lowlands, and they have met with all the denominations, where we sit together, we discuss things, how we're going to formulate ideas in helping people and working together as one body with all different faith based. So like on the day of Eid, when you come in the mosque, you will see like so many different people of different background and different faith-based organizations coming. And just so when they have their function activities, we are part of it, because I believe this is what life is about. This is what, we have to be working towards to achieve. If we want to see a better community, a better society, and even a better Tobago, working together is very, very important.
Excellent. Final question here this morning. Remind our viewers specifically, because I love the insight and the details that's always provided to give a clear sense of clarity for those who particularly misunderstand.
Yeah.
In terms of the misconceptions. Contact information, where you're located, telephone, socials, where can they connect with you?
Sure. So we are located at Hamden in Lowlands. Very easy area, Now when you pass, you can't miss the mosque at night because it's lighted in the night and there's a big moon and star in it, so you can't miss it. The contact number, you could use my contact number because I'm the director and head of the Muslim community here, 680-1414, 680-1414. A lot of time, like, people will be asking for books or information in Islam. You can contact us on these things. And as I said, that we live very close to the Chief Secretary residence. We are his neighbors, And I know you had Secretary Faith early on, I just want to commend them for the work that Secretary has been doing in Tobago. I know that I've hit the ground running. And also the Chief Secretary and so on. In fact, he will be coming this afternoon to join us for our iftar and dinner. We look forward in welcoming him, And I think that they are doing a really good job. It's challenging, and we just have to support them in what they are doing presently for the betterment of Tobago and the society and so on. And lastly, I would just like to also commend you all on the great work that you all are doing, because as I said, that I follow up on the mornings, and also the message has to get out there, and this is one of the means that the message could get out for the whole of Tobago and the whole of society. And my last message is I would like to wish all our brothers and sisters in Tobago a very warm Eid Mubarak on Monday, and to all those in Trinidad who are looking also warm Eid Mubarak, because right now we are so fortunate that we could be celebrating Eid and having a meal every single day. There are so many people around the world who are really suffering this month. They don't even have any food to start their fast, nor to break their fast. So I just like to say that, let us really not take anything for granted, because we are really fortunate to be living in this beautiful paradise of Tobago, and we must all live together in peace, love, harmony, because one day our number will be called. So let us, when we leave this world, leave a mark behind.
Excellent. Thank you so much there, Camille Ali, Director at the Masjid at Lowlands, giving us a sense of speaking to Ramadan, speaking to the Eid al-Fitr celebration. And, very impressive at that. Whenever I've interacted with this gentleman, there's always that sense of calm and ease, a wealth of knowledge and understanding, and very encouraging and supporting. And we want to say thank you very much and congratulations again. And we look forward to, and I like the point that he has made very clearly. We each have a responsibility in our various denominations as individuals within our communities. We each have our responsibility to try to help another, put out a helping hand, and to do something when we can out there, folks. Just a gentle reminder. All right, and we want to remind our viewers at this point, the Argyle Waterhole Bar is back. Yes, the Argyle Waterhole Bar is back. Come and hang with us every Friday. That's today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, from 5 p.m. Come on, Hula Vibes from this Friday, which is today, Friday the 29th of April 2022, from 5 p.m. till. Don't miss happy hour from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday. After you come tonight on Friday, tomorrow, Saturday, come and rock away. Happy hour starts from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's tomorrow, Saturday, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And on Sunday, it doesn't end tomorrow. On Sunday, couple up, and enjoy the conscious vibes from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Expect to see DJs like Professor X, Rodney Gordon, DJ Punky, and Mighty Crush. Come and enjoy the drinks, the food, and the vibes at Argyle Waterhole Bar. Back in full swing and free. Yes, viewers. So we want to encourage you, those of you here in Tobago. We're heading to the east from today until Sunday. From 5 p.m. daily, Argyle Waterhole Bar is back. And it's free. Come and enjoy yourself, food, drinks, and vibes. All right, viewers, in the next segment, we head on over to this day in Tobago history with Devon Adana.
This day in Tobago history. Did you know that on April 27, 1934, the Tobago Times published an article to the editor expounding on the need for Tobagonians to mark the 100-year anniversary of the emancipation of the formerly enslaved population of the island? The mailbag piece entitled Emancipation Day with the byline, "What will it mean to Tobago?" was simply signed ex-slave. In the letter to the editor, the writer asserted that emancipation was a colored man's birthday. The writer felt the day should not be allowed to pass by unnoticed and unobserved, as the day represented a marker of sorts in the black man's coming-of-age story. Remember, slavery was abolished throughout the British Empire via the Slavery Abolition Act 1833, which did not come into effect in Tobago and in Trinidad until August 1st, 1834. The proclamation of the abolition of slavery was read on the courthouse steps in Scarborough. The letter writer shared that it would be a sad commentary on our history to overlook the celebration of such a turning point in the lives of Negroes. The writer felt that the Negro was fast reaching the status of manhood, having moved from a time when he was not allowed to pick his own way to then being allowed the freedom to do so. The slave history of Tobago, they continued, required the observance of the occasion. Trinidad is doing her bit, the writer exclaimed, so why not Tobago? In fact, as they put it, it was not too early to start making preparation for the event. The writer, who hailed from Rockley Vale, ended by saying that they did not think themselves the lone voice in the wilderness, that they threw out the suggestion of an emancipation celebration in Tobago so that it might catch the eyes of interested persons and bear fruit. According to officeholidays.com, celebrations to mark emancipation did take place in Trinidad and Tobago in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. In 1939, however, the Legislative Council replaced Emancipation Day activities with Discovery Day, honoring Christopher Columbus and his journeys to the New World. It would take another 50 years from the time of the Tobago Times letter to the editor for Trinidad and Tobago to declare the 1st of August would be a public holiday, which began from the following year in 1985. This made Trinidad and Tobago the very first country in the world to declare a national holiday to commemorate the abolition of slavery. You've been watching This Day in Tobago History. My name is Devon Adana. There's lots more after the break, so be sure to join us and share the live.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards. To our
Welcome to
top
Tobago
story.
Update Sports. I'm your boy Marcus Daniel. Thank you.
Trinidad and looms as
remains when
the public is
nobody lives here. Oil and gas exploration continues to affect the livelihood.
Spearside's marine industry.
Tobago
fishermen
When will the
Sion
Roxborough
Francis
Hospital be fully functional?
of the 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. window
Still
at the
find
islands
treasures like the Golden
continue to
Waterfall.
rise in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Morning. Yes, viewers, it's 7:53 a.m. this morning, and this is the Tobago Updates morning show coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. In this segment, viewers, we are preparing to chat with Nevin Roach, CEO of Panorama Entertainment. Morning.
Morning, Julian. How are
to
you
you.
today?
All right, thank you so much for joining us on the Tobago Updates morning show this morning. So we want to start off by you giving us a very a quick sense of what is Panorama, or who rather is Panorama Entertainment?
All right. Well, Panorama Entertainment, that's the name of the business, and the main offering is Panogramma, which is an international steel pan competition that features talented and upcoming panists to provide wholesome and entertaining entertainment for family and stuff like that, right? We started back in 2020 in the heights of COVID restrictions and lockdown. So I heard you had Dr. Faith on, she was speaking about being a little bit more cautious and so forth, and we all have to be safe. So Panorama was one of the positive things coming out of COVID. Had it not been for the pandemic, Panorama would not be here. The name is a fusion of Instagram and Panorama. We streamed live on Instagram in 2020, and we grew exponentially, expanding to YouTube, Facebook, and of course on television as well.
All right. Just for those who may be wondering, I know at the moment you are based in Barbados, correct?
Yes.
Tell us about your proud Tobago connection, just in case they're wondering.
Oh, well, I know you would be smiling now when I mention I have to big up my Bishop's High School people.
Bishopians.
Yes, big up the Bishopians. Special good morning to Mr. Anthony Moore. He played an integral role in my development in music, and that's one of the main reasons I continue to remain involved. Right. So yeah, Bishop's High School. I've lived in Tobago for many years, and I transferred to Barbados, where I did computer science at the University of the West Indies, Cave campus.
For those who have not yet made the connection, before we go into the 2022 competition itself, we know that our very own, as brother here, right here in Tobago, Keyshawn Julian, would have certainly excelled. Tell us about that experience where he would have, rise to the top of this competition.
Well, rising to the top of the competition is such an understatement because what he did for the finals last year, Pan by storm, it was totally amazing. I mean, the presentation, he had a screen, a weather report reporting that all the other contestants did not survive. He was the lone survivor. He had flashing lights on the screen. And I must mention that over 44,000 views were received during last year's shows across social media, and we of course had it on TV in Barbados. This year it would be aired throughout the Caribbean region, over 19 countries across the Caribbean region, in the US and also in Canada. And guys, connect with us, Panorama, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We're going to be streaming on Instagram this year. The prelims will take place on May 6th to 8th. The semifinals will take place on May 29th, and the finals on June 12th. 10 countries, lots of entertainment.
Tell us, is there still an opportunity for persons who may want to participate, hearing about this excellence, to get involved, or has that time already passed?
Oh boy, that time has long passed, and I know you're a bit excited because you saw the grand prize of an all expenses paid trip to Bahamas $1,000 US cash, a private session with a world-renowned steel panist, and of course, one brand new tenor pan from Perfect Steel in Trinidad. But no, the time has gone. They would have an opportunity when next year's edition comes around. And I must take this opportunity to mention, while we are still virtual, we have all intentions to bring a landed event. Hopefully we can bring a landed event to Tobago in the future. So, we push the pan, we push these panists, and we have a great time.
All right, excellent. Final question this morning. Just remind our viewers again when it's taking place, where they are to connect. I hope you'll also be making the connection with Tobago Updates so that we also have the information out there with showcasing this very international event. So remind our viewers again about the dates, the times, etc. to connect in terms of supporting a Panorama 2022.
Yes, most definitely. And let me just quickly mention, I love what you guys are doing, keeping me updated while I'm out here in Barbados. So the dates again, the prelims are set for May 6th to 8th. That's next week. The semifinals on May 29th and the finals on June 12th. Big up Leandro Nori. He's one of the best in Tobago. And of course, I saw you flashing photos of photos taken by Philbert Williams. He was in my class at Bishop's High School.
All right. Thank you so much there again for connecting with us, and we want to wish you all the success. And yes, viewers, we've had it here this morning. Nevin Rhodes, CEO of Panorama Entertainment, and we look forward to getting or to seeing the contest in action, Panorama Contest 2022. And again, congratulations to our very outstanding winner last year, Keyshawn Julian, really representing and making the best of a virtual platform. All right, so viewers, in this final segment, let me take some time out to also shout out Euphoric Design for the shirts and how certainly the connection with, let me pause with the hairstyle this morning. My barber, Classic Cuts by Akilan's, located there in Susuland. Remember to check him out. That's Classic Cuts by Akilan, located there in Susuland. All right, as we're in this final segment to wrap this morning, we want to thank all you viewers for the continued love and support. We're seeing on the live here, very busy, Didi Solage, Vincent, Shaquita, Sharon Mills, Avian George, Mariana Batiste, Muriel Dyer, and the list goes on. Eric Powder, I see you in the mix. Morning. All right, Anton Carter, Sham from Melville, the entire team out there, thank you so much for the continued love and support. I'm told that Denicia is on with me on the other end. Morning, Denicia.
Morning, Julian. How are you
this
morning?
Yes, we are both here alone this morning. Let me give a shout out to Rhea Richardson George and the entire family. Rhea, hoping to see you soon in May. All right.
which is technically on Tuesday.
That's technically
which is technically
Rhea,
on
hoping
Tuesday.
to see you in May. You know, we miss Rhea a lot, and we continue to pray for you and the entire family, Rhea Richardson George. Denise, are you alone as well this morning?
Yes, unfortunately, I'm alone this morning. Candice is out. You know, when school calls, you have to make that your #1 priority. However, as always, I am going to give you the same energy and vibes as Candice. You know, the same spunk, the same vibes. But we're going to have fun today, guys. We're going to have
Denicia,
fun.
we're looking at this screen, and this makes a very good Julian Tobago Updates morning show and Denicia GMT connection. All right, so Rhea and Candice, we are going to enjoy this morning.
Most
all
definitely.
right, viewers, we continue to remind you all about that responsibility, as Rhea would always say, wearing that mask, washing those hands at soap and water, and of course to continue to sanitize and to socially distance. Denicia, just before I run off and hand over to you, what's happening this weekend? I'm told that it's a big weekend for us on the Tobago Updates.
So this weekend we are going to be in Trinidad on Sunday as we bring to you the live coverage of the TDP. They are going to release the names of the candidates and the executive, and we are going to bring to you live coverage. As always, we are #1 and we are known for effectiveness and our quality. So we are going to keep you very abreast with what is going to take place over the weekend and what is happening with the PDP and their launch in Trinidad as they move forward to try to contest for the elections. The general election.
Big moves indeed. And yes, viewers, stay tuned. You're going to get it all here from the Tobago updates. We're going to be giving you that coverage and to continue to connect with you. Bye for now, folks. Have fun with GMT with Denicia.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning, morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago. And start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Denise Dempster. Here's a look at your news in 90 seconds. A motion was passed in the House yesterday to allow the establishment of a policy towards a social support based on a case conference model. Secretary of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, Dr. Faith B. Israel, led the motion. The aim is to set up a system whereby social support can be given to clients no matter the division they present themselves to. It will allow for more streamlined support, preventing the clients from having to visit several departments before work can begin on their case. The motion was unanimously supported by the Executive Council and the Minority Council. In other news, reef tour operators are not pleased with the new restrictions on the Bucco Reef Marine Park, which prohibits parties and the consumption of alcohol. PRO of the Reef Tour Association, Michael Frank, told Tobago Updates that there was no consultations with reef tour operations before the new restrictions were introduced. He says these new restrictions will hurt their business at a time when they are only now starting to recover from the pandemic. He wants the relevant authorities to meet with the tour operators to work out a compromise. Meanwhile, recent fuel price increases are not a measure to punish the population, but it is about shared responsibility. This is according to Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Brian Manning, in the Senate yesterday. He refuted claims from the opposition that fuel price increases were punitive measures. He said subsidies were inherently inefficient and unsustainable, noting that subsidized commodities like fuel were maintained through taxes and not by revenue from any state enterprise. That was the news in 90 seconds. Now, folks, as Julian mentioned earlier, Candice is unfortunately not here. Therefore, I will be with you as I carry you through GMT this morning. Now, we have a special interview, a special segment for you this morning. The project officer, Kimberly Gilbert, of the Family Planning Association of Trinidad and Tobago, they had an initiative where they were offering free HIV testing on the Ports Mall earlier this week. Now, this was done to curb HIV and to really get the awareness out there. There is also always a negative headlines when you hear HIV and AIDS, and we want to move away from that. We want to shy away from that. You know, those who have the virus, unfortunately, they are living a normal life. They are doing things that the average human being is doing. So their initiative was geared towards raising awareness, making sure that, hey, it's okay to come and get our testing. And the thing about it is, they are not only doing, if you're afraid of needles, they are giving you the option of doing oral testing. And this can be done at the comfort of your home. After you finish through the oral testing, you get back the results in 20 minutes. So we want to take a look at this interview now as we continue to share the awareness of HIV and AIDS, and their theme is to end HIV and AIDS by 2030. So let's take a look at this interview right now.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. So on this special segment, we are here at the Port Mall and we are currently doing HIV testing. That's correct. You heard right. HIV testing. And with us, we have Miss Kimberly Gilbert. And Miss Kimberly Gilbert is the project officer from the Family Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Tobago.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
I am fine, and you?
Lovely, I'm great.
So tell us, what is exactly happening here today?
So today at Port Mall Shopping Complex, we will be testing persons for HIV. Now it's voluntary service, so persons of their free will be coming to get tested, and we have a counselor here in case they need counseling for any matter, right, regarding HIV testing.
Why is this initiative so important?
This initiative is important because we're on a mission to end AIDS. Now what people don't understand sometimes is that you can be HIV positive, but you do not have to develop AIDS. So within the 95-95 targets set by the global world AIDS, what we're doing is, as a country, trying to get to that target where 95% of HIV positive people know their status, 95% of them are on treatment, and 95% of people who are on treatment are undetectable, which means is that they are HIV positive, but they can show up negative on a test, and their chances of transmitting HIV to their partner is very, very slim.
How can we move from the stigma associated with HIV or AIDS in the hopes to bring more awareness to the public?
What we can do is actually treat HIV as any non-communicable disease, such as diabetes, such as high cholesterol. It is a lifestyle. I wouldn't say lifestyle disease, but it's something that you have to manage for the rest of your life, and it is manageable. Here in Trinidad and Tobago, we're pleased to have free treatment. So once you are diagnosed as positive for HIV, you would be referred to a treatment site, and at that site there are navigators or people who are actually able to help you and take you through the process. And once you get your free medication, you're on that, you're taking care of your health, you can live with HIV. So the term is PLHIV, or persons living with HIV. It's no longer that death sentence like before. Yeah.
And could you explain or walk us through the process today with the testing, the approach, the methods that you all are using?
Not a problem at all. So I can take you to the registration desk, but let me tell you first, right? Because I think there's someone there now. So we have one of our persons of concern, one of our liaisons. He is manning the registration desk. At that desk, we'll take personal information to put into our system, as well as information to get feedback from persons about the oral testing, which is actually something new to our country, and the Ministry of Health will be setting up distribution sites so that persons can actually collect a test and go home and get tested. So we could talk a bit about that as well.
So tell us about the oral testing. Why was that so different, or why was that introduced now as opposed to what they were using before?
Well, the world is already there. So we're playing catch up at this point in time. And as you know, in our culture, we thread needle, bad. You understand? So it is something that makes the process a lot easier, a bit more pleasurable, palatable, right? So with the oral test kits, persons can open up the kit, you'll see your solution, you put that on the kickstand, and then you take the swab and you swab it along your gum line, stick that in the solution, and 20 minutes later you have your test results. Again, sometimes we live in a culture, I don't want to shy away from it, where you don't want people know your business, right? So what you can do, you collect your test at a distribution site, you go home and you test in private. There is also a helpline called 800-4HIV, and what that does is you can actually call to get further information about the self-test kit, or you can call and let them know, I got a self-test, I'm about to do this thing, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it right or what my results will be, and they can talk you through the process and also assist you with reading the results. And if you do need counseling, they're trained to do that as well. So that's 800-4HIV.
Now, it's very interesting that you spoke on the matter of confidentiality, because a lot of persons may have a problem with their business being out there.
Exactly.
So tell us why it's so important for your sexual history to be something that you are asked beforehand, because a lot of persons may think, okay, I just come and I get tested and that's it. But there are some questions that are being asked prior to being tested. So could you tell us why those questions
are important so that we can get, well, not we, but it's through the Ministry of Health. So the information doesn't come to our organization, it goes to the Ministry of Health database. And anywhere you go, whether it be a private clinic, public clinic, you answer those questions. It is important for them to understand behavior and history and that type of thing, so that when making interventions, they do have the information so that the interventions are more targeted. So this is something that does not come to our organization, but it goes directly to the Ministry of Health. Of course, all persons who work in our sector, they are persons that understand confidentiality, especially for the Family Planning Association, especially for the Family Planning Association. It is something that we pride ourselves in, and we understand the importance of it. Our organization has positioned itself, and it really targets persons of minority groups, and we understand that they may not be treated the same in public, and so with that at hand, we definitely ensure that persons who come to our association, they are treated with confidentiality and no judgment.
I know today isn't the only day that you're here testing persons. So could you tell us what happened leading up to this very moment?
Not a problem. So on Monday, Portmore Shopping Complex allowed us the space for us to have a conversation called Stir the Pot, right? Because it's controversial, but it's relevant information. And we were pleased to have sexologists from right here in Tobago, Onika Henry. She came and she held a discussion with young persons on sexuality, carnival, and how trauma that we've experienced affects our sexuality and how we express that through carnival. That was a beautiful conversation. I'd love to have it over and over again. So I do want to thank Onika for giving us her time to do that as well. Yesterday we had testing at the Roxborough Police Youth Club, so I do want to thank them very much for allowing us to use their space. As of course, you know, it's not a thorough, like people walk through with traffic, so there was that privacy in that aspect as well. And we did the testing, same as we're doing here today. Persons can come, register, and have their test done.
How can persons get in contact with your organization?
Sure. We have a landline number, as usual, 623-5169. If persons want to do outreach or they want to contact me directly to help coordinate that or to put that in place for them and link them with the outreach coordinator, they can contact me at 710-6526 or KGILBERT, that's K Gilbert, at ttfpa.org.
And if there's one thing that you could say to Tobagonians, and by extension those who are looking on internationally, what word of advice would you give to persons to encourage them to go and get tested?
The best thing to do is know. Knowledge is power. When you are in an informed position, you are then able to make decisions for your life that can improve your life. If you are HIV positive and you do not know, that can develop into AIDS, where you would be ill. really, really ill. So we don't want persons to reach to that state. Yes, persons may be frightened, they don't want to know their status, but the benefit is in knowing so that you can take control of your health.
So guys, I just did my registration process. Now at this very moment, we are going to move over into the next step where we are going to do the oral testing as well as the finger prick testing.
Most definitely. So you're getting the best of both worlds today.
So come, let's go. Hi.
Hi.
Good day. So I'm a bit nervous, right? Even though it's orally and it's a finger prick.
Right. So this is how it goes. So normally when someone comes, we'll do the intake with them to find out exactly what it is they have to, what is their sexual practices. So depending on how they answer the questions, I will know how to conduct the interview while I'm doing it before I do the test on them, letting them know what is positive, what is HIV, how HIV is spread, and how they can eliminate the chance of getting HIV and ending AIDS by 2030. Right?
So I have a question for you before we start, right? So usually when you hear about AIDS, you hear a stigma with it, right? A negative stigma. Now there are persons who have been living with HIV and has been able to stay alive through with medication, etc., etc., etc. Now when it comes down to intimacy, you would oftentimes hear persons not being able to sexually transmit that HIV to their partner. So my question is, could you explain how that happens?
Right. So what you just explained there is U equals U, which means undetectable equals untransmittable. So what the medication does, it reduces the amount of virus in your body from, it could be up to 7 million copies, right down to below 50 copies. And when I say 50, it's 150, 50.
Okay.
And actually reduces even down to even more than that, which is 10 to 5 to 0. Now, even though it reaches that amount, it doesn't mean you do not have HIV. You still have the HIV, and it could still raise if you stop taking the medication. So the medication is very important. If you take the medication, you become undetectable. This makes you untreatable because the medication reduces the virus down to almost 0. And once you're below 50, you're considered to be undetectable. Anything above, any amount of virus above 50, you will be considered detectable for HIV.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's get started. And feel free to ask any questions during the time.
Sure, no problem.
That you'll feel relaxed and feel comfortable.
Because right now I'm trembling at the moment.
It'll be comfortable because it's just a simple stick at the finger. So while I'm doing it, I'll explain to you exactly what I'm going to do. Right? So this is the device. This is called the Determine. This is the #1 testing device that we have in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? But we're also going to introduce the oral testing, which you will do after you finish this.
So why is the oral is given as another option?
Because people afraid needles. Although this is not really a needle, just like a little pin, people still afraid it. And in the Caribbean, I've noticed a lot of people do afraid needles and they have some type of trauma around it. So the oral prick is the best option for those who don't mind. So it's just a quick, simple swipe in the mouth, wait 20 minutes, and that's it. And also, you can take home the test as well, so you don't have to be in a physical clinic to do it. So that makes the oral testing even easier to use, so you don't have to come to the clinic and wait.
Right.
You can just go home, take it, do it. The instructions are pretty simple. It also has a video, and you can even, before you leave from the clinic, you can ask the service provider to show you exactly what to do. Again, you have all those ways to show you how simple and easy the test is. Right. So let's get started. So what we have here is a dry cotton and a wet cotton. So the wet cotton is to sanitize your finger, get rid of any debris or anything like that. And the dry one is to remove the first blood, because you don't want to use the first blood, you want to use anything after that.
Why not the first blood?
Because the first blood has a lot of glucose in it, so you don't want to get that type of blood inside it, because it can give the test a wrong reading. So
okay.
Get rid of that, and then we use the blood after that.
Okay.
Right, so this is the pipette. Then you use this, and then this again, this is the device, and then I hope you don't afraid of needles. I am terribly afraid of needles. It's quite safe, so you have no worries. What I'm going to do, you take your hand, so I'm going to massage it to bring up the blood to the finger.
Okay.
You can see it's very relaxing as well. Bring it up here. Alright, and I'm going to set it. Make sure it's clean. No worries.
So this is the finger prick one?
Yes, it's the finger prick.
Okay.
Right.
So don't tell me when you're going to prick me, right?
Just close your eyes.
Wait, just now.
Close your eyes. And keep your hands flat like this, yes. That's it. So you take out your first blood. Take this. And then squeeze.
How much blood do you really need?
So this one is 50 milliliters, but what we do, it has a black marking, if you can see right there. That is just the amount of blood that you need.
So am I the only person that you usually have to do it more times for? That's normal.
That's normal.
Okay.
That's normal. So what I'm going to do now is put the blood on the pad. Now this soaks up all the blood that it has. Well, enough blood for it. As you can see, the blood is running in and the blood is running down from the pipette.
Sorry, so this side is the side that, this side is the side that really touching.
So could you explain the shades?
Shades?
This blue here.
Oh, so this blue is just color to mark where you have to just directing you where to put the device, where the blood's supposed to run, and where you're supposed to put this cheese buffer in as well. Right. So once the pad is soaked up enough and it takes enough blood, it stops. So that's the one. I just wasted a drop of blood.
15 minutes later.
So your 15 minutes has passed. So now we can actually read the result. So as I was explaining to you before, once this line is present, this line lets us know that the test is working properly, I got enough of the blood sample, the liquid as well I put in it is also good. Right? So now if there was a line here, as you see, just like there's a line here by this first white spot, it would have said that the test detected the HIV antibodies in your blood, and once there's antibodies, it means that the virus is present and it would mean that you're HIV positive. But since there's no line, it means that your body doesn't have the HIV virus, which let you know, so you don't have the virus, so now you're HIV negative.
But once there are two lines down here, you have to go into treatment immediately.
Yes.
So after the person gets their results, what's next?
So I'll take your name.
Denicia Dempster, D-E-N-I-C-I-A, Dempster, D-E-M-P-S-T-E-R.
Alright, and I'll put negative. And today is the 27th of 4th month, 2020. I'll put my signature as well as my name. So if there's any if any other further questions you want to get, you know exactly where you went, who did it, and what date, so they can always go back and check your record to see if anything. But the record is definitely, I alone would know because we very strict on confidentiality. So even if I write this and you come to find out this night came and did a test with Tracy, I'm still not sure I want to get the next one. How do I get in contact with them, or how do I make a next appointment? You just have to tell them, and I will have all the records. I'll be like, okay, she came to me on this day. Let me see what was her questions, what was her concerns, what was your result, and then we will move forward from there.
So once that person handles you, that's the information that is sticking with that said person?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Then I will fold it like this. Give you an envelope.
Thank you very much. Simple, easy process. So guys, we are not finished just as yet. As you can see, this is the Aura Quick, and another part of the option that has been given to individuals who don't want to do the finger prick. So could you walk me through exactly what is going to take place with the oral testing?
Okay, so for our oral testing, it was designed to have individuals do their own testing at home. So we no longer have to worry about going to the clinic or to the hospitals and, like, this person seen me, I don't want this person to know, stuff like that. So with this kit, you are able to go and take the test within the comfort of your own home, and you get your results within 20 minutes, right? So I will show you as well, and then you will do a test for yourself.
Okay.
Right? So you can rip it open, empty the contents on your test. 3 items inside. Right. So you have 3 items. You have this would be your instruction booklet. Yeah. And in it you will find all the instructions on how to do the testing. Okay. This item will be your solution stand, right? So once you're conducting the test, you're going to place it on a sturdy table at all times, right? So it's the side and the center. This item, it includes the test and your solution. So you can hold it up like this and just feel both sides. So you're feeling the cylinder and you're feeling the side.
Yes.
So what I want you to do is open the side with the cylinder alone. So rip it halfway. And take out the solution. Yeah. So you hold it up and you're going to open it for me. So you're going to put your thumb right in the groove right here and this. Yeah. And then you're going to take your time and gently guide it into the groove of your test. From the front, and then glide it inside. Right. So make sure it's inside there and everything's okay. Right? Then you're going to open the other side. And this one you need to be extra careful because this has the actual test in it, right? So you're going to open it. And slowly and carefully remove the stick from it. So you're going to hold it right there and pull out. Now, with this test, you cannot touch the end part here, right? So you can't touch it. This is the part that will be going into your mouth, right? And you're going to hold it flat like this. And you're using this part here and you're going to place it between your lips and your gums. And you're going to do one movement like this for me. You could try it before. You can like do a little thing. So that's one little
around like this.
Yeah, just once, right? So you're going to push it up and around. Ready? With between your lips and your gums. So
okay.
It's like right here.
Okay.
Go ahead. Once. And when you're done, you simply drop it inside the tube. And that is it. You wait for 20 minutes. Right? But you also have to make sure that you mark your time. So the time you place your test is 1:47. So you're going to come back within 20 minutes to view your results. So I will show you what you're looking for. So you're now seeing a C and a T, right? So it's pretty similar to a pregnancy test where you're looking for a line. Here you're looking for a red line, right? So if you get a red line by the C, it means that you're negative. A red line by the T, it means that you're positive.
Okay.
If by chance you're seeing 2 lines, it means that there's a possibility that you may have HIV and you need to go and get a test and visit the health clinic. If you're seeing it blank or the entire thing is red, it means that it is invalid. That means you either touched here, or you ate before, or you left your test a little too long. Yeah?
So you can't eat before you take this test?
About 15 to 20 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
And that is it. Simple, easy, everything. When you're done, you just put it in a bag, you throw it away. Nobody has to know that you did your test that day. And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, pretty easy.
Pretty. Yeah, pretty simple.
And is it that a lot of persons prefer this than the actual finger pricking?
So far with our pilot, yes. Because we found a lot of persons saying, well, I don't want to do the needle test, because they're afraid of putting needles, and this is pretty simple. However, you're also hearing persons saying, well, how accurate this is. This is 100% effective. It's actually being used outside of the Caribbean, however, we are not introducing it in the Caribbean.
So guys, as you could see, we had a very interesting time in our show today. We brought you live what is taking place here at the Port Mall, where the Family Planning Association, they are offering options to persons to have free testing. Now, as I said earlier, there is a negative stigma associated with HIV and AIDS, and we want to move away and get away from that focus. We are encouraging persons to go and get tested. Encourage a friend, come with your family member, come with your sister. We want to be able to spread awareness. Knowledge is power. Thank you very much for tuning in to Tobago Updates. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Nice.
All right, guys, that was a very interesting segment we have there for you. My experience of it, as I stated earlier, I was very nervous. Point being, I am afraid of needles. However, the Family Planning Association of Trinidad and Tobago, they wanted to streamline this initiative as well as giving persons the option of having an oral testing. For those who are afraid of needles like myself, you have the option of doing the oral testing. And they stressed on the point being that, yes, HIV and AIDS is a disease that is out here, but you can live with the disease. You can manage the disease with the medication that is available to you. So we want to, as I said earlier, we want to encourage persons to go and get tested, tell a friend, tell a sister, spread the word, spread the awareness, and let's move away from the negative stigma associated with HIV and AIDS. That's all the time we have today, folks. It was a pleasure being in your company. As I say always, stay safe, keep smiling, enjoy your day, and have a wonderful weekend. And please don't forget to tune in on Sunday as we bring you live coverage from the PDP new executive in Trinidad. Thank you, guys. Bye.
I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never